Hello, good morning. Today we're going to learn the senses, how we convey the senses in our own writing. We're going to learn how we convey the senses in our own writing. So basically, a person can perceive things using their senses. They can perceive things using their senses. Just think about the environment you're sitting in, right? Is it a room, for example? So think about it. What can you smell? Yeah, sense of smell. What can you smell? What can you taste? What can you see? What can you hear? And where you're sitting there, what can you touch? So those are the five senses here, right? Sense of smell, taste, sight, hearing, touch. Those are the things that make us human, right? Because we can see, taste, right? Smell, hear, and touch. And if any of those attributions or any of the senses is missing, of course, then something is wrong. Would be the quality of your life would not be very, very easy. So, for example, if you couldn't feel the thing that you touch, of course, that would be very sad. It's just an attribute that makes us human. And on that note, when you're describing something, when you are given a task to describe something, you also have to convey these senses to the reader. You have to convey these senses to the reader. You have to make them come wherever you are, right? And they have to feel as if you're sharing the experiences in real life, even though yet it's just on paper. So you have to write in a way that they can smell whatever you're writing about. They can taste it. They can see, they can hear, they can touch. So yeah, you have to be very, very creative. And the reader has to almost, even if they are sitting on the couch, you have to transform their world and invite them to the world that you're trying to describe by your conveying, by the way you convey the senses. I don't know if that makes sense. So, here, the senses, just remember them, alright? You must have learned them in biology, and you have to convey, be creative enough to convey them. So, here, I'll show you a picture here. A very beautiful place, yeah? So, think about this picture, just look at it for a few seconds. Just look at it. There's a bridge here, there are trees, it's kind of green. Leaves of different kinds, ferns. Think about like a little stream there, right? Just look at it, just think about it, right? So these are the words that can come up best to describe them. I'll show you. Here we have the words. I can see the green grass and tall trees. I can smell the fresh scent of blooming flowers. All right, so the sense of what? The sense of sight, isn't it? I can smell the fresh scent of blooming flowers. I can hear the birds chirping. I can taste the fresh air on my tongue. All right? I can see the wind blowing. So I can see, sense of sight. I can smell, sense of smell. I can hear, sense of hearing. I can taste, sense of taste. I can feel, sense of touch or feel. Okay? So here the sense of touch can also be sense of feeling. All right? Sorry for my handwriting. I apologize. But those five senses here are conveyed. So you can almost imagine yourself. If you can immerse yourself into this world, you almost imagine yourself there. But this is not really effective. I'm going to show you how this can be conveyed in an effective way. But these are just sentences, they're not really effective at all. So I'm going to show you how you can effectively write them. Alright? So let me show you here. There it says, as I walk through the enchanted forest, I am greeted with a fresh smell of scented flowers. So have you seen the word enchanted here? Alright? it's bringing a lot of interest to the reader, isn't it? And then you see scented flowers, scented, the word scented. So if you couple the word, if you couple the word enchanted and scented, what do you see? So enchanted and scented, what do you feel? Do you feel something very pleasant? The pleasantness of it is what is being conveyed. Enchanted and scented. These are deliberately chosen words to convey like that sense of pleasantness. Yeah, their bright colors glow in the sunlight. Their bright colors. So the sense of sight here, the sense of sight, right? The bright colors glow. So the word glow here, almost as if something precious. So something precious, something beautiful, right? But of course, you should avoid using the word beautiful. It's just a generic word. But say precious it's a better word to use. Glow in the sunlight. Chirping birds happily dance around in the sky as the trees wave their arms in excitement. Chirping birds happily dance. So here, chirping here, again, this is a positive word. Happily dance around the sky as the trees wave their arms. Do trees have arms? No, they don't have arms. So this is called what? Personification, yeah? Right? So this is personification, right? Again, trees wave their arms in excitement. Again, this is bringing out the pleasantness of the what? Of the environment, where the excitement is a positive word, right? Chirping here is conveying the sense of what? Of hearing. Again, but chirping is a positive word. So the sense of hearing is being brought out here. The warm spring breeze softly brushes against my face. The warm, again, sense of feeling, yeah? We can feel it in our skin, right? Softly brushes, softly, again, this is a feeling, again, this is a pleasant word. This word, softly, here, this is conveying what? The pleasantness of the environment here, the smoothness of it, alright? As I walk along the freshly grown grass, slowly the refreshing air lands on my tongue. Again, sense of taste is being conveyed. Lands on my tongue. You could say the refreshing air tastes good, but that's vapid. That's not really good description. You have to be very, very creative. So here, lands on my tongue, feeling me with happiness. Again, feeling, the word feeling is conveying the fact that there's a lot of happiness, isn't it? Right? So the word feeling here is just emphasizing the amount of happiness that is around them. So the character here is feeling a lot of happiness. Alright. So here, what we can see here, we've seen as I walk through the enchanted forest, I'm greeted with fresh smell of scented flowers, sense of smell, the bright colors glow in the sunlight, sense of sight, chirping birds happily dance around in the sky, again, sense of hearing, as the trees wave their arms in excitement, sense of sight, the warm spring breeze softly brushes against my face, again, sense of feeling, slowly the refreshing air lands on my tongue, sense of taste. Alright, so here the senses are being conveyed, but cleverly, yeah? So you can try to use personification, you can try to use metaphors, similes to convey those senses as well. Don't just be direct, alright? Okay, so, and then I'm going to show you another example here. We have another example here. This is looks like a picture of a beach. The sea coast here, sand, we can see sand, you can see leaves, the blue sky, clouds, yeah, intermittent clouds, as you can call them. You can see mountain, yeah, very pleasant place, yeah. So how can we describe them? Let's see. So let's see here, we have I can see the bright blue water. I can smell the fresh air. All right. What else can you see? I can see. What can you see? What can you imagine? You see the white sand. You can see the white sand. What else can you see? The green leaves. The what else can you see? You could see mountains at distance. Yeah, those kind of things, right? So here, but this is the quite vapid description. We could describe it even more. Let's see how we can describe it. Let's see. Slowly, yeah, the bright blue sea crawls towards the golden sand. The fresh air enters my nose as I make my way down the seashore. With every step, I can feel my feet sink into the smooth sand, and the taste of salty water lands on my tongue. The sound of the violin echoes along the coast as I begin to dance around on the sand elegantly. Right? So let's see what is done here. So you have the bright blue sea. Again, this is very pleasant, right? Crawls towards the golden sand. The sort of personification, yeah, of comparing the sea to something that is living. Yeah. The golden sand. Again, gold is something that is associated with preciousness. Yeah. So golden here is conveying the idea that it is sort of like precious. Yeah. Right? And the bright blue showing how pleasant or beautiful what the sea looked like. The fresh air enters my nose as I make my way down the seashore. Again, the sense of smell is being conveyed here, isn't it? As I wait. With every step, I can feel my feet sinking into the smooth, right? So it's smooth here. The sense of feel is being described here. And it's smooth here is conveying the idea that sand was really what? What can you use? What synonym you can use instead of smooth? It was really not hard, you can say, the opposite of it. You can say it was, you could sink into it. It was very soft. Anything could sink into it, right? And the taste of the salty seawater lands on my tongue. The sense of taste is being conveyed here. Salty seawater lands on my tongue. The sound of the violin echoes along the coast as I begin to dance. Again, the sense of hearing. And echoes here is showing that the sea the beach or the sea coast was very big, right? That's why the sounds, you could hear an echo, isn't it? If the expanse is big, you can hear the echo. Elegantly here, the word elegant here, I understand elegantly here is what? It's showing how graceful the sand was. It's showing how graceful the dance was. The description of the dance was graceful, right? So here, you've seen how it's being conveyed. All these have been conveyed in such a beautiful way. Just try to be creative, guys. Yeah. All right. Let's try to see another example here. We have another example. Of course, this looks gloomy and dark. We don't, in comparison to the first two examples, there's no color to it. It's just dark and dull, and sort of, yeah. Even if the houses seem as if, sort of like Gothic times, right? You can see the tree extending itself, no leaves there. The house has no color in it. There's a fog in it, sort of like conveying a sort of dark atmosphere. And you can see shadows of people that are not really visible. And you see a man walking by here. Of course, very serious kind of look and attire, right? And the sky itself has no life in it, right? Okay, let's see how we can best describe this. Okay, I can see the dark, gloomy sky. Of course, it's dark and gloomy. I can smell the damp air, as you would expect that place. So, I can hear the wind howling. Right, a little bit of character is being added to the wind here, of horror, isn't it? A little bit of horror. I can taste the thick fog. I can feel the fog as it blashes my skin. So we can try to improve this one here in our own way. Let's see how we can improve it. So here we have an example. In the bleak distance, the huge tower stood tall in isolation, standing rocking. Okay, so let's start here. Bleak. Yeah, showing how harsh, yeah, and isolated, yeah. The place was where there are nothing there, isn't it? The huge tower stood tall in isolation, standing broken and crippled. Yeah. So here it's showing that the place was dilapidated, crippled, usually used for people, isn't it? So this personification showing something unpleasant here. In this case, how dilapidated the place was. Okay. In front of it is a forest of trees, their bark decaying here, of course, showing that it's being damaged. A blanket of fog covers my skin. Blanket of fog. Blanket. Can you see through a blanket? So here it's showing that the fog was something that you cannot see through. Yeah, covers my skin, filling my mouth with distaste. Again, this is not a pleasant description. So here the sense of taste is being conveyed to show that there was a distasteful kind of taste there. Cautiously, I make my way through the desolate street. Desolate. Yeah, nothing occupies the street as the icy wind howls. Again, howls here, showing the horror and making the reader want to know more, right? Kind of mystery is being added there, right? So can wind howl? It cannot howl, isn't it? So here the word howl is being used to intrigue the reader and make them get that sense of mystery there and a sense of terror too. Alright? So this is very effective in comparison to the first one, yeah? Alright? Okay, so here, remember, be creative. Just be creative. Read books, read novels. You can get some examples there and you can try to twist them. Just try to read. Exposure will help you write your own description better. Alright? So here I have a little bit of to describe the paragraph. Bleak is effective as it allows the reader to imagine a harsh, deserted place. Yeah. So the word bleak here. Isolation suggests the place is abandoned and makes the reader ask why doesn't anyone visit the place. It intrigues the reader. So it's isolated. The place is isolated. Crippled is a personification because, of course, showing the trees cannot be what? Crippled. So it's showing that they were damaged and lifeless. Decaying emphasizes lifeless trees, how lifeless the trees are. The blanket of fog is a metaphor here, of course. It suggests that there is so much fog that makes it hard to see anything. Desolate allows an image of a miserable and gloomy, deserted place or atmosphere, which suggests that it suggests that the place was not pleasant at all. All right, so Windhouse is a personification, yeah? It's creating a terrifying image, it creates tension and mystery. I hope this was a very educative class, but you have to practice on your own. So I'm going to send you a picture on the system. You write an essay concerning it. But practice, guys. Practice makes perfect. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.